Hey guys, this is Nephis here with the next dungeon guide video. This time we'll be venturing into veteran Elden Hollow I. Lots of high elves to kill here, and you're going to be experiencing quite a few trash pulls as a tank. As the DPS, you're just going to be doing your usual thing. Nothing particular of note in this dungeon for the healer. It's basically just heal, buff, and debuff. So as we explore the paths of Elden Hollow I, you'll notice that there was quite a lovely looking waterfall. There can be a chest at the bottom of it and a chest to the left of it, just as a side note. But yes, let's move on. And here we have the High Elves and their grunts, or more specifically the Thalmor. For those of you who are Skyrim fans or have played Skyrim, the Thalmor are here excavating something for their own gain. Catches are in Grotwood, which is the realm of the Wood Elves, a race that they view as inferior to their own. So what could they be searching for here, I wonder. So as you notice, lots of ranged adds to pull in as a tank, and lots of damage to avoid as the DPS. There are really annoying adds called Stranglers in this dungeon. If you aggro them, they'll try to pull you to them. You can block their pull and stay where you are. But a lot of groups tend to ignore them, not aggro them if they can avoid it. And again, here's our dirt trash, and the next one's going to be huge as well. When you're handling this many adds as a tank, it's very important to have minor maim applied to these guys. And as a Dragon Knight, you have Choking Talons, which is an AoE minor maim. If you're DPSing this, if your tank's not stacking this for you, then try to put your dots in a way, like your wall of elements maybe, in a way that they're hitting everything in a row rather than just singling out one ad and just hitting that one ad. So the first boss of Elden Hollow I, not too hard, just a orc warrior. She's a bit sturdy with 3 million-ish health. You don't want to face her towards the group. She only does that cone ability where she just staggers you if you block it. And she does a heavy attack, and this, our favorite from Wayrest 1 and 2, the spin, the meat spin, where she just wildly swings her axe. It does not look like a very effective martial art move or an attack. I mean, but anyway, we kill her, thank goodness. And we move on to the second boss of Elden Hollow I. You don't have to do this boss for pledges if you do have this dungeon as a pledge. However, she is required, I believe, for the Elden Hollow related achievements like speedrun, no death. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But yeah, this boss is just kind of like a Spriggan. She doesn't really do much. She just honestly just takes the beating. That was without CP, by the way, and continuing without CP, you just saw how easily she just died. Strangler to the right, pretty annoying, and we got more trash up ahead. For whatever reason, I've always found it better to go left. Just left feels nice at this part. And the healer was really smart here. He tapped the next trash so that they would all come swarming into that choke point. And that's pretty much what you want to do. Take it slow and easy, and don't make it too complicated. Don't have everyone be everywhere at once. Make sure you're healing, make sure you're DPSing, make sure you're debuffing and buffing. Again, an annoying Strangler. Honestly, I don't know how many this dungeon has. It's probably around 7 to 9 Stranglers total. Well, actually, I make that 10 Stranglers probably. I've seen that's like the 7th one I think we've seen so far. There's a few more up ahead. And we got elites, really weird 2-legged frog things. And the next boss is a titular. boss for the monster set from Elden Hollow I, Choke Thorn. Besides looking like a very exotic vagina, Choke Thorn is not really too difficult. That AoE he does, you can stand out of it if you're DPS. It's recommended. It is mitigated by block, so if you do block it as a DPS, you will survive it, and even as a tank, of course, you'll survive it. Honestly, there's 3 mechanics this boss does. The first one is that big, massive AoE. The second one is when he suddenly targets a random player in the group and pulls him back, usually just in time before the explosion, so you're kind of snared while you're moving out of the AoE. And the third mechanic he does, he summons these little other strangler babies to heal him. You can actually interrupt them with Bash or Crushing Shock, like that healer just did. And that's it. Not too hard, but also at the same time can be difficult if one person keeps dying to the massive explosion. Again, more stranglers. So fun. Alright, now that we killed the 3 frog stooges, I guess, and the plant, we're gonna have yet another massive trash pool here. If you're a DK, a Dragon Knight tank, Chain is probably the best, still the best class skill to pull everything in and stack things. Faster than the Warden's Frozen Gate, less costly in terms of a resource than the stamina based Silver Leash from the Fire skill line, so yeah, it's pretty nice. Now after you kill this, there is another boss you'll have to contend with. It's not really a elite boss, it's just kind of one of those side bosses. It's like a stamina sorcerer. Here he comes right now, and he has one ability, the Interruptible, that I just bashed. And he doesn't really do too much damage, except for his heavy attack, which you can block or dodge roll as a tank or DPS. And again, you can bash that AoE he just did, but I just did not for whatever reason. Probably because I'm really bad. Anyway. Yep, so he's dead. He died standing up with a true warrior. Now I made a mistake here. I went this way instead of the other way. The other way has another boss before the last boss. It's like a golden elite called Leaf Seether. So we're gonna make our way to that boss so we can kill it for its booty. Elite booty. Lot more trash. Alright, so with this boss elite, you get like 3 other green elites, and you just pretty much stack them all on top of each other. And the Leaf Seether doesn't really do anything special. He or she or it just pounces and line attacks with its big maw. I'm sure it would hurt a lot more in real life being bitten by that huge mouth, for sure. But yeah, it doesn't really do much. It's pretty easy, just stack and burn, even without CP. Alright, we killed it. Now we're gonna face the last boss of Elden Hollow I, the Canon Reve. She is in charge of this Thalmor expedition into Elden Hollow. And here we have yet another stuck in combat related bug that does not allow us to read the scroll or open the door or whatever. It's kind of actually pretty interesting how many bugs in these dungeons exist. It exists in City of Ash as well, Wayrest, and a couple other ones. But yeah, you just want to stealth up, crouch, and eventually you'll be able to read it and pull the boss. So here we go, hard mode. Now the Canon Reve, honestly, no mechanics change in between normal mode and hard mode. All she has is higher health and more damage. Now there's three things she does. It's not a huge deal. It's pretty easy. The first thing she does is a big, massive AOE. Not that one. That's a very small AOE. This one. Okay. The second thing she does, you kind of saw before the big AOE she just did. She launches a disease or poison ball at someone. You can dodge roll it if you're a DPS. There's no need to block it because the healer, even without CP, you should survive it. The big explosion though can hurt as a DPS, and you will die probably, especially if you don't have enough CP or no CP at all. So I recommend getting at that big explosion. The third mechanic she does is she summons like this. Oh, there goes one person. She summons this like dark snare circle which spawns skeletons. So she has ads as well, but those 4 skeletons don't really do much as long as you can keep them under control as a tank. And it's pretty much rinse and repeat, nothing really changes. And he barely dodged the bullet on that one yet again, that Earthcore proc saving him. Yeah, there's not much to it, as you can see. She doesn't really do much. Her light attacks and such don't really hurt too much on the tank. There are times when... Actually, there aren't really too many times where you can get fucked by that smaller circle and get snared into the big AoE. I mean, you would have to have a really slow reaction to actually get caught in that big AoE. Most people die on this boss because they think they can take the big AoE, or they just don't pay attention. And that's pretty much it. And those 4 ads spawn yet again. They spawn a lot slower than they used to, but again, if you're not, just keep DPSing, and here you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that was Elden Hollow 1 hard mode on Veteran without CP.
Everything changes.